Now, sorry about that. We're just going to continue with love bombing. So this will be part 2. But what I was going over is the terms of endearment. So what will happen is you just met the narcissist. They'll begin to refer to you as, hey baby, hey love, hey sunshine, hey beautiful, yes sweetheart. And they'll do this when it is just way too soon for them to do it. However, when someone begins to use terms of endearment, what it does to you is it causes you to feel accepted by them, approved by them. And it also kind of lowers your guard. So another thing that I've realized that it does, it aids in helping you to bypass that certain behaviors are taking place way too soon in the relationship. For instance, one thing that the narcissist will move extremely quickly to do is to get you to have sex with them. Now, and they will have already began to condition you by using these terms of endearment, and you'll kind of feel like, man, I feel like I've known him forever. But no, you haven't. And it's way too soon for a variety of things that will begin to unfold. But by them using these terms of endearment, it almost just like caresses you to, it gives you, it's that false sense of security, that you're in the relationship, you're safe, like this is the one, and they're able to get you to do a variety of things that it's really way too soon to do. Your intuition hasn't even had time to kick in and guide you. But basically, a lot of these things that the narcissist is doing is so that you will override your intuition, or your sense of discernment will not even have time to actually, click in for you to really pay attention to it. So that's another thing that I've noticed that they'll do is use those terms of endearment. Now, another thing that the narcissist will do is called mirroring. So when you sit down and you have these hour-long conversations and the narcissist is sharing stuff with you and you're like, man, he is so vulnerable. Like, he's just open. He's willing to share intimate details that I would think he would be embarrassed to share. But he likes me, that much that he's opening up and just sharing everything. What he's doing is this. First of all, those long stories that the narcissist is telling you, first of all, they're made up. They're lies. These are the stories that they use. They know what it's going to trigger down inside of you. So what they're in fact doing is they're sharing these intimate details with you in these stories, knowing that what it's doing is it's going to cause you in return to share your intimate stories. And this is the treasure that the narcissist is looking for. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so once the narcissist can get you to open up and get you to share intimate details with them, what happens is they begin to learn your likes, your dislikes. They begin to learn, what makes you tick. So in learning this, it's telling them what to do, what not to do. And it's revealing a lot of information that you in fact are not even aware that you're telling them. You're sharing your dreams, your goals. You're just sharing, way too much, way too soon. But what happens is, in return, the narcissist uses a technique called mirroring. So right before your eyes, almost like a chameleon, the narcissist will become what you are teaching him or what you are sharing with him he needs to be. So now, with that information that they learn from you, they'll become the perfect man in your eyes. This is why it appeared that you met the perfect guy, because the narcissist took what you shared with them and they became who they needed to be in order to line up with your likes, your dislikes, your dreams, your goals. All of that is, it was nothing. It wasn't that you met the perfect man. It's that the man you met was able to strategically listen to what you shared with him, and right before your eyes he became the perfect man. So in fact, that's why, when you look back, you'd be like, well, he was perfect. No, it was an illusion. It was just an illusion. He became the man that you shared with him through the stories that you shared. He became the man that he needed to become in order to further deceive you. So, when the narcissist sits down and has those, long conversations, it's strategic. They take that information and they gather the information that they need to further, their plot and their plan of deception. So that's a technique that they use called mirroring. The next thing that the narcissist will do in this stage is isolation. Now, in isolating you, basically, what the narcissist is doing is they will consume your time. I mentioned this with the constant communication. Basically, they're positioning you where they're consuming all of your time. Now, in doing this, and also the conversations that you had with them, you told them who the key players in your life were. Because generally, these are the people that we talk about, or the variety of stories that we share. So they learn who the key players in your life are, and then they target them. By getting this information, it tells them who they need to target and who they need to remove out of the picture. Because if you have a best friend, if you're close with your mom, or you close with your siblings, this lets them know that these are the people they have to be aware of. These are the people who, once the narcissist starts to unfold their plan and they start to tear you down mentally and emotionally, these key players, these key people in your lives are the ones that'll say, hold up, you starting to change and it's not for the good. What's going on? Hold up. I don't like that. So, they can't have that. So what they're going to do is they're going to start to strategically cut you away from those key players. Like, for instance, if the narcissist is targeting your close girlfriend, he'll start to mention things about her, or even come up with these grandiose scenarios where, oh yeah, she dated one of my one of my friends, or word on the street about her is that she's a whore. They'll just come up with different things. Oh, I don't think you should hang with this one, or this one is just weird. The way they do this or the way they do that. And what they'll start to do is to make you uncomfortable with mentioning anything about that person to the narcissist. And then what'll slowly happen is they'll have you start to back up from even associating from that person. They'll also just consume your time in such a manner where you won't be able to, talk to your mom on a daily basis, or, talk to another family member on a daily basis. But what they're doing, again, is they're just strategically moving the key players out of your life, because what the narcissist wants to do is they want to get you where you're isolated. So once they begin to destroy you, once they begin to unfold that plot of destroying you mentally and emotionally, they don't want anyone there to help you. They want to be where not only are they subtly or strategically destroying you, but they want you to run to them. They want to be, the one that you run to. So they're hurting you, and then they become the hero, as if you know, they're there for you. But basically in this stage, what they do is they're cutting off your support system, so that you'll be in a very bad position once they come, you know, after you mentally and emotionally. And I just wanted to bring this up. When the narcissist comes after you mentally and emotionally, they're coming for your soul. Because remember, your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. So, you know, when they're coming after you mentally and emotionally, and even manipulating your will, they're coming for your soul. So, you know, dealing with the narcissist is very, it's actually dangerous. You know, as their goal is the destruction of your soul. All right. So now the next thing that I want to discuss is how fast the narcissist will profess their love for you. Now, in record time, you'll be with the narcissist, and I'm talking about within like the first 30 days. Next thing you know, they'll start professing their love for you, professing how you make them feel. You know, you touch the narcissist in such a way that no one else has ever been able to do that. You know, I can still remember the day the narcissist just looked at me and said, you know, I'm falling in love with you, Wendy. You know, and they're so sincere when they do it. It's just like, oh my gosh, give this man an Oscar. Like, are you serious? But this is how they get down. They will quickly profess their love. The only reason why they're doing it is human nature. When someone says I love you, it's human nature to say it back. Although it's generally done, you know, where it's befitting to say I love you back, but not, you know, when you've just met someone. But they, you know, again, it's a strategy. They know if they continue to say it to you, that you will in fact say it back to them. So they're just strategically positioning you so you know, that they can get you to start saying it and then get you to start feeling it. And the next thing you know, you actually do fall for the narcissist. Also, it also gauges, it's a gauge for them to determine where you are on the scale of, you know, where your feelings are for the narcissist. So it's also a way for them to gauge how well their game is working. So I just wanted to go over that. It's the topic of love bombing. If you've learned anything, if it helped you in any way, please hit that like button and subscribe so you can see when I drop new videos. Thank you so much for joining, and have a blessed evening.